Hello, we are live talking about Billie Eilish's new music video, Xanny with an X. I'm pretty sure that is short for Xanax. So it's going to be interesting. I'm also going to have some practical advice on how to quit smoking. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to get deep into this music video and the actual positive message that Billie Eilish has sent out. Wow. She actually did something amazing. Really amazing with this video. As you know, you guys probably think I'm totally obsessed with Billie Eilish by now because I've referenced her in so many of my videos. And my roommate has talked about her and like we're obsessed with Billie Eilish. Look. Billie Eilish is massively influential. And so logically, it makes sense to explore this person who is so influential to an entire generation. It's interesting. And I'm interested in psychology. And I'm interested in Billie Eilish. Her music is actually really good. You know, not all her messages I can agree with, but, you know, she's talented. But anyways, with this music video, Xanny, she did something extremely impressive. Basically, it was an anti-smoking PSA wrapped up in a music video. You know, she has used art to get the message against smoking, against drugs in general, out into the world. Okay, that's pretty awesome. I was impressed. So it was against like secondhand smoking because in the music video, right, they're, you know, they're putting out cigarettes on her face. So, and she's talking about secondhand smoke and the grossness of all that. But I also felt there could have been a message, like an environmentalist message, because you can take the cigarette smoke, the cigarettes being put out on her face, you can take that as almost an analogy, and just the smoke, there's smoke flying at her face. You know, you can take that as almost an analogy for the polluters in the world, the corporations, the companies that are polluting the water supply, the air supply. That's secondhand smoke. We know Billie Eilish is massively into the environment and, you know, anti-globalism. I mean, not anti-globalism, she's into anti-global warming, right? She's into that. She likes Greta Thunberg. So I felt there could have been a side message for environmentalism. Anyways, I got my notes here, so I'm looking. It's so much easier to have some notes when you're making a video, so you don't have to hold everything in your head. Really hard thing to do. So I am live, so I will be looking at the live chat if anyone pops in at the end of the video, okay? So, anyways, isn't it crazy how fast she blew up into extreme popularity, Billie Eilish? Like, she came out of nowhere, and now all of a sudden she's like the most famous artist ever. She's like on Lady Gaga level, like out of nowhere. Wow. So, yeah, I don't think any of that's for no reason. I feel like it's controlled. There's a plan there. It's for a reason. There's a purpose there. And that's also why I'm interested in this topic of Billie Eilish and these celebrities. You know, you might think I'm just celebrity obsessed and everything. It's interesting. And they're like, you know, pop culture is like a religion. It's like a modern day religion for this new Generation Z or something. Is that what it is? And pop culture is their religion. And Billie Eilish and these people are their gods. They're their gods. So we have to look into this. We have to be interested in the upcoming pop culture revolution. It's so massively influential to everyone. Anyways, back to the topic. Had someone join. Hey, what's up? Yo. All right, so let's get to the meaning of this song and some of the lyrics. Let's explore the lyrics. Billie Eilish said in the song, drugs and cigarettes are... Oh, wait, no, this is not Billie Eilish. This is not the lyrics. Okay, so I looked at another video where Billie Eilish is explaining the meaning of this song. And she said, in this video, she said, Drugs and cigarettes are you killing yourself. You're slowly killing yourself with them. You can tell. She seems to be a very clean-cut person, very anti-drug, very, wanting to be high on life. And that's a message I promote, generally against anti-drugs and everything. Obviously, there's a purpose for medicinal substances in the right dosage, possibly microdosing drugs is something I'm into, but not inebriating yourself, not becoming numb with these drugs. The message of this song was to don't numb yourself out. You have to face your emotions and everything, and people resort to these drugs, alcohol in particular, and cigarettes and everything just to numb themselves because they don't want to feel their emotions and they want to block everything out. And even a Xanax. What is a Xanax? It's a drug. It's a antipsychotic medication. It's a drug people take for anxiety. And in the song, she says, "Don't give me a Xanny, now or ever." So she's saying she doesn't want to be drugged out. She doesn't want to be numbed, like she's seeing her friends. She talked about her past where she had all these friends getting drunk all the time and vomiting, and they didn't take their life really seriously. That annoyed her, that they were just using these drugs to just kind of, escape life. So, yeah, this is a great thing. Okay, and now here's the thing. She was describing the meaning of one of her lyrics in the song. One of her lyrics in the song is, "I can't afford to love someone who isn't dying by mistake." And Billie Eilish said regarding this lyric, she said, "Loving someone, giving your all to someone, it's draining, even if it's a good thing. Even if you're in love with someone and they're in love with you, it takes a lot out of you. I don't want to love someone who I'm going to lose because they're killing themselves." I'll include a link to this video after I'm done with the stream. I'll go back and I'll include a link to the video where she said this quote. It's called A Snippet into Billie Eilish's Mind, if you want to just give that a YouTube search. Xanny, where she's talking about the meaning of this song. So anyways, when she said that, I related to that idea a lot because I've often had the same thought that when you don't want to fall in love, you don't want to become too attached to someone who is killing themselves with an unhealthy lifestyle. And this relates a lot to the idea of eternal love. On my channel is something I talk about, eternal love, that when we're looking for a romantic partner, or heck, even a friendship, we want friendships, we want love, we want our relationships to be eternal. And so it's important to find someone who is into their health and into survival and trying to live forever, like trying their hardest to live forever, because wouldn't it suck to become so attached to someone, so emotionally invested in someone, that and then to have that person die, kill themselves with drugs and alcohol and addictions, and that would be a heartbreak. So in order to avoid that, we want to find someone who cares about their health and wants to live forever and is trying to live forever. So I related a lot to that. It seems like someone like Billie Eilish and myself, we have something in common. It's like, we're no good at goodbyes. It's a Post Malone song that's a lyric in a Post Malone song where he says, "I'm no good at goodbyes." Well, me and Billie Eilish, we don't want to say goodbye to someone that we love. Okay, she doesn't want to fall in love with someone only to lose that person because they killed themselves. So that would suck to have to say goodbye because, oh, you killed yourself. We were going to have a relationship. I fell in love with you, and then you just killed yourself. That would suck. So the point is, I guess you have to it's hard to find people that want to live forever and are trying to live forever, but that's what we have to do in order to avoid that kind of heartbreak, I guess. What else do we got here? Speaking of Post Malone, he needs to listen to this song by Billie Eilish because Post Malone is killing himself with his unhealthy lifestyle, his addictions, just smoking and alcohol. He's constantly drinking beer. Constantly drinking beer, not even healthy beer. Hey, Raw Matt's entered. Yes, he said, Raw Matt said, many people want to live forever. Few people try to live forever. Yes, and even fewer people strive to live forever with their whole heart and soul. Their whole life is obsessed with living forever. You know, how many few people are doing that? That's a great point, Matt. All right, so let's get back into it. You'll find my practical advice on how to quit smoking very interesting, and we'll consult Raw Matt too, because he might have some good advice. He's a health expert. All right, so what else we got? Yeah, so I was saying Post Malone, he's drinking beer all the time. By the way, Post Malone's a fan of Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish is a fan of Post Malone. They're both very popular contemporary artists amongst this newer generation. So, what do we got here? So, what else? Sorry. Okay, here we go. So I felt like the song, in addition to being against smoking, in addition to being against drugs in general, I felt like it could have also been a message against these antipsychotic drugs that people are taking. Even the title of the song, Xanny. And she said, don't give me a Xanny, now or ever. So she's saying, I don't want to be numb to my problems. I want to confront my problems. I don't want to be numb. And she's saying in the song, she's saying, there's lyrics about how she's the designated driver because all her friends are drunk and whatever. And they're all numb, but she has to be the designated driver. And they're bringing ashtrays to the table. And that's all they bring is just their drugs. And she was talking about in the interview, she was even talking about how when her friends are drunk, that they're not even themselves anymore. That she feels alone when she's with a bunch of her friends that are drunk and inebriated and everything. They lose their personality, and she just feels alone with those people. So she could be surrounded with people that are drunk at a party whenever, and they're not themselves, and all they're bringing is ashtrays to the table. Yeah, and some very, very interesting lyrics. Let's get a little bit more into the lyrics. The first lyric in the song is she says, what is it about them? I must be missing something. They just keep doing nothing. Too intoxicated to be scared. Now, I thought those lyrics were very interesting because she's indicating with those lyrics, she's implying that being scared is important. There is a value in being scared. And what am I always preaching on my YouTube channel? I'm saying fear is a superpower. We don't want to numb our fear with these intoxicants, with these drugs, with these everything, because that will numb your fear. She's saying they just keep doing nothing because they're just too intoxicated to be scared. So it's like, if we can apply these lyrics to eternal life. I like to relate everything to eternal life. So if we relate these lyrics to eternal life, our fear is what motivates us to do stuff. Our fear is a superpower if we tap into it. It motivates us to take action. Okay? For our health, for our survival, for our longevity, for our eternal life. It's that fear we have to tap into. And people take drugs, and it removes their fear. They're numbed, and they don't have the fear anymore. And so they end up doing nothing to save themselves because they're so numb they can't feel the fear. So we have to not intoxicate ourselves with these drugs. We have to face reality and embrace that fear and use that fear as a motivation, a healthy fear that motivates us. Okay? Now, I'm not saying Billie Eilish meant it that way, but it was interesting, those lyrics, how I relate to that a lot. Embrace the fear, man. Embrace the fear. All right, now what else about this song? So Billie Eilish is obviously, she hates to see all her friends killing themselves with drugs and alcohol. That's pretty obvious. She talks about that in her interview. Yeah, because like it's not just about her. It's not just that you hate your romantic interest to be into drugs and alcohol. That would suck because then they're killing themselves and you have to lose that person you love so much. It's also just your friends in general. It's like birds of a feather flock together, and it kind of sucks to have all your friends be into drugs, constantly drunk and everything, killing themselves. And then that's a heartbreak if your friends end up dying. That's why you want to find people. It's so important to find like-minded people that actually want to live forever and take their health seriously. Anyways, let's get to the practical advice on how to quit smoking so this video doesn't become too long. I was researching some ways to quit smoking. Interestingly enough, CBD oil is something people are using to quit smoking, and they're having great success with it. Here is there's a London study done on CBD oil. The dogs are freaking out. Now, it's interesting living with dogs. I've figured out some practical reasons why they're so good to live with them, because they're on high alert all the time, like guarding the house. That could save your life. So there's some potential that dogs and having pets can actually help your eternal life right there. They can guard the house and alert you to dangers. They're on high alert. Anyways, getting back to it, the study was about marijuana. There is a compound that could help smokers quit by stopping intrusive thoughts, study finds. A marijuana compound, CBD, could help smokers quit by stopping intrusive thoughts. An earlier study showed that CBD users reduced smoking by 40% after a week compared to people who were given a placebo. So CBD really does, it's like a natural anti-anxiety medicine. And generally when people are trying to quit smoking, they can have increased levels of anxiety, their body's going through withdrawal of certain drugs and everything. And that will increase your anxiety. So CBD can help you to quit smoking. That is amazing. So if you're a smoker, try that out. Try CBD. Could really help. I've also heard niacin. Niacin is something people take when they're trying to quit smoking, and it also helps. Anyways, last thoughts here. Somebody asked me in the comments of my last video about fairies and angels. They said, why do you think Billie Eilish is a bad role model? Because in the past I've said Billie Eilish is a bad role model. Let me just explain that. I was saying that because Billie Eilish, in some of her interviews, she had a philosophy about death and the meaninglessness of life, and she was promoting nihilism. And to me, that was a bad message, because she was basically saying, if you watch this interview, I have clips of it in my videos, but she was saying that life is meaningless because we're all going to die and nothing matters. So I was saying she's a bad role model, and she was saying, if I do anything bad or if I do anything good, it doesn't matter. Her message was nothing matters. She could do the best thing in the world or the worst thing in the world, but because she's going to die, nothing matters. I was saying she's a bad role model because that is a very, if people took that message literally and implied that in their life, they could do very evil things, they could be immoral, they would embrace nihilism. That is the bad message at the core of her philosophy. I don't want people to embrace that. Now, in some sense, I can see now, really, actually, that maybe that's where people need to start from. Her only issue is that she doesn't understand that living forever is possible. If she could understand that, she wouldn't have this nihilistic message of, well, everything's meaningless because we're going to die. Now, in some sense, she's smart because she understands that if we do end up dying and ceasing to exist, then life is meaningless. So she understands that a temporary life is meaningless. So that's smart of her. That actually shows some intelligence. Maybe that's the starting point. Maybe she needs to the dogs. There's no one there, I don't think. There's no one there. You're okay. You're safe. These dogs are Eternal Life fans. They're on high alert. Dangers. All right, so anyways, she's gotten that's like the first stage, is to realize that if your life ends and if you cease to exist, then your life really is meaningless. That is the first stage. But then the second stage is realizing, oh, actually, life isn't meaningless because living forever is possible. So once she gets that, if she could understand that, she wouldn't have to embrace this very dark, nihilistic, fatalistic viewpoint. And yeah, that's the gist of it. That's why I was saying she's a bad role model. She just needs to come to the realization that life is not meaningless because living forever is possible, basically. But maybe, it takes a while for people to get there. So she has her healthy starting point of understanding the futility of this temporary life. Life doesn't have to be temporary. Let's be optimistic. Let's be hopeful. Let's look at all the technology. Let's look at everything we can do for our health, and let's look at that possibility. Let's see the positive side instead of just saying, oh, we're going to die. Life is meaningless. That seems to be what Billie Eilish is trapped. She's stuck in that mindset. She's got to see the positive, that we can live forever. Living forever is possible. And once she gets that, she won't have to be a negative role model. It was really her philosophy. That's what it was about. That's what I was saying her message was bad. Okay, that's why I was saying she's a bad role model, really. But she's came out with this song now, and it's like this is the best thing she's done as far as actually being a good role model to these people, to all her fans and everything. So at least she's getting her fans to reflect on the idea that death, if you die and cease to exist, your life was meaningless. So that's the one positive thing we can take out of that. And all her fans will be influenced in that way. And that could be a good thing because no one likes their life to be meaningless. That's such a horrible thought. And so she brings her fans to this nihilistic philosophy that their life is meaningless. That's what she's telling her fans. Like, you're going to die, your life is meaningless. So in a sense, that could be a good thing because no one wants to stay there in that negative place of saying, well, my life is meaningless, I'm going to die and cease to exist, and therefore everything's meaningless. No one wants to stay there. So by bringing her fans to that dark mental space, she could help them get to the next stage, which is, oh, wait, I could live forever. Maybe living forever is possible. Therefore, my life isn't meaningless. I could have meaning and I can live forever. So that's the next stage, hopefully her and her fans will get to. We can hope for that. Let's hope for that. Anyways, that's about it. I will look in the comments here just briefly. And hey, Matt, what do you think? What's the strategy to quit smoking? Let's embrace our Eternal Life fan health consultant here, Raw Matt. What's the strategy? What's the best thing? What can they can use to quit smoking? All right, we have someone in the chat. Floursin formaldehyde. Floursin formaldehyde. Do you think tattoo ink can possibly cause cancer? I've heard that tattoo ink is bad for you, and that is an issue. That's a potential problem. Post Malone needs to think about that before putting another tattoo on his face. All these tattoos, I have heard that ink does get into the bloodstream and it accumulates in the liver. So that's a bad thing, yes. Cancer, I've not heard that specifically, but that could be a thing, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at all if tattoo ink can cause cancer. So definitely, to answer your question, possibly, yeah. Yeah, it's a danger. So that's something people need to think about. Maybe we could come up with, eventually they're going to probably come up with some healthy ink, some non-cancerous ink to tattoo with. People use henna. I think that's healthier, but henna, I don't know if that is permanent. Maybe it's semi-permanent. I haven't researched it enough. If I ever want to get face tattoos and everything, maybe I'll have to look into that more. Maybe that's my future. Van Halen says, we want to live forever, but fear to never die. Fear to never die? That's not something I fear. I want to live forever, and I'm afraid of dying. I'm afraid of... Yeah, interesting. Van Halen says Billie Eilish is awesome. She's pretty awesome. She's very talented anyways. That's, you guys, that's it for this. Thank you. May you live forever. May Billie Eilish eventually come to the understanding that living forever is possible. Therefore, life doesn't have to be meaningless. And good on you. A+ for this latest song, Zanny. I think it's a good message. You've done something impressive. I am very pleased with it. Good job. Let's wait. I'm waiting for your song about eternal life, okay? Living forever. That living forever is possible. That's the message. I'm waiting for that, Billie Eilish. And let's hope Post Malone gets the message of your Zanny song and he quits his horrible smoking addiction and drinking. That is bad. Drugs are bad, okay? Okay? Unless they're microdosed or whatever. There's probably healthy applications to drugs. That's a whole nother thing. You know, CBD, that's a healthy drug. CBD. Stick to CBD, you'll be good. Anyways, thank you guys for showing up. And hope you got something. Oh, wait. We're not done. Matt has talked about a strategy to help quit smoking, okay? He said, smoking, okay, wow, a few things. I would say kratom if they can obtain it. Okay, kratom. Look into kratom if you want to quit smoking. Ginger also comes to mind. Interesting. I would have never guessed ginger. I would have thought kratom. People are using that to help with the withdrawals of many different drugs when they're addicted to them. I would have not considered ginger. Interesting. Thank you. And then he says, then eat nightshades to give the body some solanine so that it gives the body a little nicotine-like. Ah, yes, the solanine, the nightshade family. I heard even tomatoes, they have a little tiny bit of nicotine in them, so that could help wean yourself off of smoking. Interesting. Okay, some good ideas there. Some very good ideas. All right, you guys. Thanks for showing up. Peace out. May you live forever.